right, I got a lot going on over here. I know it looks really messy, but trust me, there's a method to the madness here, right? Uh, I got three different versions, and each one has its own unique features. Let me see.
Like ants, the people of the city scurried. Above them all, a dame, a bold.
Okay. Let's see. All right. Well, this one right here is more dependent on patterns. I still got a lot of cleaning up to do though, and I like researching indicators. That's kind of like my niche, right? I find it very intriguing and very interesting. I like the math formulas that they use, complex scenarios. It's hard to learn, and that's very, very, you know, on point for me. It's because it's hard to learn. I don't like. If I'm not, if it's not a struggle, then I don't want to learn how to do it. Right? Well, with psychoanalysis on the weekly, we're coming to a conclusion around the 19th of August. Should be a zone. Now, this was a left-handed translation. The middle, right here, of the cycle, this should be an inner cycle, the intermediate, then a dominant, right? Should have been one right here, which was at $2.80. That's also how I predicted it, the $2.80, because it was going to have to reach a low point, which that's where it bounced off. On the 3-day chart, I'm starting to see more importance on the 3-day chart than I would be seeing on the weekly chart again. Because this is a loading location right here. I mean, there was, the red is greater than the green, but overall, right, it was 12% higher as far as money wise, right?
The truth
With
is,
200
they are legally robbing you, and it happens every time that you pay for your card.
I wish I didn't have to worry about commercials, but I don't want to pay the premium, so I guess I'm gonna have to worry about it. All right, that's the YouTube thing, right? So there's this, and then you can see right here, these little dots. This is the whale buying indicator. It suggests it was buying that whole dip all the way down to around $2.70. So anywhere within, I would say the top of it will be right here, which is $2.90. So $2.90 to $2.80. No, we'll use this one down too. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. It doesn't. The indicator doesn't go off on this one, but considering it's within this zone, we're going to call this a zone from around. That's interesting. All right. Well, I got it hooked up from the phone onto the TV, so I was like regulating the volume with the phone and then the TV simultaneously. So they both they're working against each other basically, right? Yeah, like I was saying, this should be a zone right here, right? I would say the accumulation zone. I mean, this is when the indicator went off, right? This is the institutional buys indicator right here, right? And it peaked here, which was at the 280. So I would say from the time that it started to the time that it peaked should be the buying zone right here. So it started here. You can see how it dipped there, right? So it started here on the. Well, we really didn't know it started until after the fact. So that was Wednesday 18th, right? And then it peaked, and we won't know until after the fact. So that would be the 8th July. So we seen that, and then we said here was the bottom at $2.50, right? And then that's before, and then the top would have been not the high of this candle, but the high of the previous candle, which would have been $3. So anywhere between $3 and $2.50 should be a great add to position zone, a great buying zone. Um, at least from just this one, this one point of information, this and this, right? Then also the block orders right here. Um, and then if we top it with this, we try to add that to it. It says 275, right? Then another point would be 280 or 290. Yeah. So you have that to it. The point of control. You need to. Well, if we look over here also on the daily, it's a 95%, 100%, 96%. So now it changed because previously this was in the 70s and this was in the 90s. Right? Yeah. Um, so yeah, anything below, I would say below this $3.20 on this chart, $3.70. Hell, even this is making a comeback here. Point of control would be right here, I guess, at 277, which is basically 280. The indicators are rolling over. It's still in negative mode, right? So the way I see this now, my brain has changed about these indicators, and it keeps on changing. So I find new strategies and I add them to it. So it keeps on continuously building on itself. Anything within this red would be a good time to sell options with the resistance zones um, as the strike price. Vice versa, green. But when you got a rhythm that goes green, red, green, red, green, then you would have to do it inversely. So that would be considered topping. Then this would be considered bottoming. But then you want to use the higher time frame to choose with the hyperwave right here. The hyperwave gets messy, but it can be cleaned up. Start picking, cherry picking these indicators and trying to find which ones work together best together. That's the objective. Finding the strength, right? Finding the indicators that complement one another, right? That's what I'm looking for. But you can't go wrong with buying on the dip. Like right here, when you got this indicator going off, we can do we can back test this, and it's proven to be right like 90% of the time with long-term investments. Now you can see there's a lot of selling going on here, selling pressure within these candlesticks. Well, these are the weekly. You can do the 3 day, probably be more accurate. Well, that almost looks like if we do pattern here, this would be almost like a diamond pattern. Well, that. So it almost looks like a diamond pattern, right? So if there's a breakout, then I would expect it to break this trend. You see these dotted lines? That's the current trend it's at. So it's going to have to. This is the top of the block order, which is around $3. It needs to hold $3 support. It's basically fighting. It's fighting this uh, $3 to $4 range. It's just fighting it, and you can see this oversold, and it's going. The indicator's rolling over. Everything's rolling over right here, which still going to be fighting that. All right. You look at the higher time frame. We go to the weekly. It wants to pull up. I would expect a divergence to be built on the hyperwave right here. Elliott wave, right? Wave one. Wave one, wave five, wave one. See, that's all scrabbled up. That's all mixed up there. It's like it's trying to create the Elliott wave theory, but every time it gets denied, it has to reset back to the last one that it was working on. And it all depends what time frame you're looking at, also. So commercials suck. God damn it, man. Oh no. Let me see here. I kind of like this type of music now. I'm starting to like. Yes, either evolve or change or something. I really don't enjoy words in music anymore. I just like the sound that it makes, but not all the time. Hmm. I guess we'll let it go. I mean, I don't know. It's all right. So, I mean, it's still in a downward structure. You can see it. It might be coming to a conclusion, but everything says don't bet on it yet. There is these points of interest here at $3.02, at $2.33. I think, yeah, this is a fair value gap for the upside, double fair value gap. Let me check it out. All right. Yeah, imbalance, right? Double fair value gap. So this is a double fair value gap, which makes it even stronger conviction wise, right? Typically, these gaps have to be filled, so I wouldn't be surprised if something happens um, in the short term, but we'll see. We'll see. It looks like it's holding up pretty well. It's still rolling over though. Regardless, there's a huge sell order for 30K right here, and I think for the last 5 days. Let's try to make it the last 10 days and see what happens. Okay. Yeah, all that within the 10-day period, big money, right? It's been selling right here. And there's some buying going on around $2 and we'll say 78 cents. We got 10 days. Let's try the 1 month. Nothing? Okay. How about the 13-day? Not really. Let's do the 2 month. There you go. It's kind of messy though. So that's the reason why I like this at shorter time frames, like 5 day. It's good. But the impact to see it where the clutters are at a high dollar value. There's a significant one here at $3. As far as buying wise, on the lower end under $3, you could say, shit, that's basically the same area. I don't know. Let's try 3 months then. Nothing. Okay. Let's go back to 5 days. Yeah, significant selling last 5 days. All right, so that's what I'm looking at there. Like this is the red, right? The indicators are rolled over. It says that it's underneath the average. It's more of a down bias to the downside. Bias right here, this yellow and this white bias to the downside. All right, there's a fair value gap here. This ought to change over time, especially if see here, we start seeing. You can draw this green and this red. It's not for this. It's for this. But we could draw just for substance wise, like having an idea here, horizontal line, like the lowest. See here. See if this is lower lows, then it would have to break this. But let's kind of like try to have it in the middle. So maybe right there.
When you work out at Crunch, you feel good. Getting stronger, that feels good.
If it makes its way through this line right here, I might get optimistic that it will. Um, that is a chance of a turnover, right? So let's just use that. If this red gets if this red right here, right, gets below that or above it, I mean, right here, like in this area, then I'll be optimistic that it can roll over and be green like it was right here, right? So that's the reason why I put that there. Okay. There's two fair value gaps also over here, which is around the 350 and it's up to 400, $4. So it's a possibility we could hold above 350. We should go to $4 to fill these fair value gaps in. Yeah, what else am I looking at here? That movie, Blade Runner, was it uh, the new one that came out, right? 2049 or something like that. Pretty badass movie. I enjoyed watching that movie. I'm a futurist type of guy. Yeah. The Blade Runner, was that 2049? Yeah. I could understand where that guy was coming from. I feel like people are the same way. I had a playlist. Let me see here.
This is fun. Getting in the pool. It's a weird move. Oh no, this is becoming a real trend here. I need food.
I think that one's pretty good. Need to get a little bit of a stereo system going on in this room rather than just the TV, but it's all good. All right, like this would be considered right here. This is the average. So if it agrees with this, right, then it's going to continue moving on down. There isn't no positivity in sight as far as technical future forecasts predicting anything positive, really. More just like sideways. Like, the CBD and the EMA. Well, I don't have this one on because I have it over here, technically. The EMA Delta. So that's this line right here. And it's all pointing down, down. It already went through this. It's still in negative. It's rolling over. It hasn't shown any signs of life yet. There's a huge sell with the 5-day, right? I think I still have this on 5-day. Yeah, it's 20,000 though. The other one was 30,000. I'm just listening to the music. I really don't have any favorite picks, but there's only one song that I know of that I really do enjoy mostly. As far as this type of music is concerned. It's the Memory Robot is probably the best one. So I'm discovering music like this. I'm still new to it, but I do enjoy it. All right, so it's the 1 month. It says it's going to roll over. There isn't really 20K, It's like, really doesn't say much. Zigzagging. Chop. Whiplash. The biggest buying opportunity was right here at $2, at the high of $2.25 to 180. I want to say that this was missing it, but it says 190. That's the range that it's calculating. But I want to say anything above or anything around 180 was the point where we were going to break up or break down. I called that out a long time ago. You see how the selling and the buying kind of, dies out over here a little bit. And as it goes down, the buying actually takes over. It's interesting, right? It's like going up. Yeah, there is more selling than buying, but they both dissipate simultaneously. But when you're going down, right, buying takes over. Okay. So what does that mean? That means to me is that nobody believes that there's a reason to sell too much, even though that's a topping area. But they do believe that there's a reason to buy, right? Even when there's selling going on. So it's what it's saying to me is that there is no confirmed top because there is no measurement of selling that exceeds the buying, especially at a top level, using this indicator of buying and selling pressure. But it is suggested that there is a bottom here because it's doing that. There's a lot of buying going on. Now, if this was inversed, if this was up here, and then the red was out to there, right? Like right, took all this space up, and then green was only like, say like this, then that would be confirming the top, right? But since they both dissipate simultaneously, that tells me there's no interest in selling that much, or they're so equal, or there's so less of it, or something. But this one's all wacky because it's taking a large chunk in it, and if we look at it, they're about equal. And if we look at here, then yeah, selling does take over, but I'm not even going to be worried about that because that's just there's not enough time to calculate. It's only calculating this rather than over here. It's got more time to calculate, right? We go down further. They said there was a lot more selling going on here, and then it broke out. Then boom, there was a lot more buying going on. So that was you could have called that a short squeeze, right? This whole move, and we might see something like that build up again between the $3 and $4 level before it breaks out and goes to where I believe it's going to go to, which is right here, to $10. But I don't know where the bottom would be after that because there's a higher. It's got a 35%, 29%, and a 4%, right? The high does hold strong at 70. But as far as the order blocks are concerned, this one's more significant. So if there's any, I think if we could break through 5, we should be at least testing above 10, at least before we start consolidating like we did here, find a top and then pull back. Right. So I believe we could see something. Let me get a drawing tool out. Whenever the time comes, right? Whenever we do break out like that, right? We should see something and then go up to 10, right? So, yeah, something like that. And then after that, we should see it do it like that again, and then set up how it had this divergence here and there and then there. And then I do have another indicator that shows that it was getting weak on this one. It wasn't so strong like how it was there. Let's see here. Which one was it? Yeah, it was this one. See how this green went up here? It went down, then it was a lower high, and then a lower high, even though it was making higher highs. So boom, 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 and then bust. So that's 3 drives to a high on divergence side level right there. That's when that kicked in. So I believe we're going to see something like that coming up at $10 sometime in the future. And if it breaks $10, which I don't think we will, but if it does, then 15 is going to be the next level. So it would continue. Then if it does break that, then I suggest something like this coming back down. So that's what I'm looking for the future. Don't know if it's going to break 10. Highly doubt it. But if it does, we're going to 15. But I don't think that the $8 resistance is going to be as significant that everyone believes it's going to be. I believe that significance needs to be rerouted to that $10 range. Well, I'm trying to. I'm gonna have to set a playlist up or something in the future. Let's see here. There was this one song I heard. It almost sounded like, a satellite in space. It was going beep, beep, beep. But it was like one of this, this style. Um, like the technical, electronic, or whatever you want to call it. That doesn't sound like it though. Weekend overload.
When you work out at Crunch, you feel good.
Okay, let's delete this. Yeah, so I'm looking for before the end of this year, $10. Clover Health, $10 to $15 per share. That's my due diligence with technical analysis as well as fundamental analysis, combined together. Well, I see where resistance is at. Institutionals, buying has been increasing. We can bring up that. We can look at the outstock data, um, but it's best to be data driven, right? I mean, it's hard to win enough. It's hard enough to try to win with everyone pulling the strings, and so you gotta be able to use as many tools as possible. But Doctor Doctor W2, Doctor Pro, um, Doctor Giroux, um, what is it? You know, W2 employee says that it's going to be probably $10 to $15 next year. Here's some hot spots with Bookmap that I was looking at. I marked them down here. It's got the $6 range. Then you got the $10 range and the $15 range. But if it can make it through the $10 range, right here's a hole. The $10 range to 15. There's nothing here. It's just empty space. It's like a void, right? Doesn't even have these. Doesn't even have these little areas of resistance at $6 and $7. This says $8, so we're just gonna let it be there, right? But it doesn't have nothing. It doesn't have anything at all. Like if it goes through $10 or $11, there's this giant hole right here. Right, from $11 to around $14, there's nothing there. Then you got resistance at 17. Then you got resistance at 20. Right. Then after that, we don't even want to talk about that because it's like too far fetched to say it's going to be above $20 by the end of the year. But right now, it's bumping into a lot of resistance. So it's got a top on it. Somebody put a top on it. $5 said, "Thou shall not pass." Right? And so that's where we're at with that. Now we just got to be able to locate where it says we shall not go under. And it looks like it's going to be the $2.50 level. Skip that out. Damn, I wish I could find that song that I want to listen to. Oh, that's a badass movie. That's a badass movie. All these are badass movies. That's a badass movie. Open Tradition. That's what that is. The other one was a badass movie, Interception, or Insert. It's the one with the dreams, right? John Wick. All those movies are badass. Let me see here. I'm gonna let that play because that's a badass movie too. Okay. Anyway, we're down. The only thing I can think about is covered call free money. Covered call free money. Covered call free money. Until it breaks out a 4 at least. Weekly has to look good. Weekly looks like shit. The 3 days one I'm paying attention to though. I mean, there is CBD is going up on the 3-day. It is, but still, the outflow, the negative. Okay, we go to this one, right? If there was a way to look at it, right, and say, well, who's winning, right? You know, you'll say the sellers are the ones that are dominating the board. Especially now, once it made it up to here, it looks like it had a short squeeze from here to here, a little minor one, which was going to happen. And I said this again and again and again. Every time you get the institutional buy, what happens is once it slows down, it pops, right? Or once it reaches the top, it'll pop because it was shorted. It was I call that manipulation, right? It was manipulated to go down that way people could buy. This is how this thing works, this is how it works, right? And then look at all that selling right there, right? The selling while it went up. They sold the pop, right? They sold it. And it was going to pop because they already had sold before to get it down to where the levels where it's at currently. How do I show this in detail? Okay, maybe this would be the one. Okay, so you see this indicator right here, right? We've already discussed this. Okay, I like those bars at the bottom. It looks like a graph. But anyway, so we've discussed this every time on the weekly chart. Okay, every time you get this right here, it's banker's move, institutional signal, institutional build. Build is like, I would say you're building something, you have to build it up, right? Or you can build it down in reverse if you wanted to. But, I would say that's like order blocks, and that would be also iceberg orders, or that would be a slow nibbling while it's still low, right? So, yeah, every time you get one of these, if we can put up the S&P 500, right? We can put up the S&P 500, and it'll show these are areas where you buy the dip every freaking time, man. Fucking on any of the significant, ETFs. If you're long, right? I mean, you can do it on shorter time frames if you're day trading, stuff like that. You're waiting for the top. You want to lock in profits while either the short sellers need to cover, right? Or, institutionals are buying. So we said it before. Right here, what you do is you get this movement, and then it pops, right? You get this movement, and then it'll pop. We can do it on any other, assets as well. But I'm in for 50 minutes. I'm going to stop this video. That way I can upload it. I don't, because it only lets me go for an hour, which, is pretty cool, whatever, right? All right. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.